My name's Kieran Freeman. I'm a junior here at St. Peter's Prep, and I come from Berkeley Heights.
My name's Jack Byram. I'm a senior at St. Peter's.
Stephen Millard from Englewood, New Jersey, class of 2015.
Hello everyone, I'm Quinn Williamson. I am a sophomore at St. Peter's Prep over there, class of 2015, and the way I get to school is by walking about 60 steps.
In the mornings, I get driven by a neighbor's father who works in New York but parks his car in Jersey City. When I go home, I take the train or get driven home by a friend with a license. The commute in is about 30 to 40 minutes depending on traffic, and on the ride home my train ride is about an hour 15 and a car ride is about a half an hour.
For the first 2 years I took the train to school, but then a friend of mine who lived the street over from me started driving in, so I got a ride from him. I live in Maplewood in Essex County, so about, with no traffic, 25 minutes, with traffic 40, by train an hour.
I take main line from Clifton to Hoboken Terminal.
The first time I got on the train I was actually a little worried because there was a lot of people I didn't know and there weren't any seats, so we were all crammed into this tight space. But you get used to it after like the first week. You just get used to being, sometimes it's squished, but usually after a stop or two a lot of people get off and after that it's back to normal.
I decided that I would come here. And I didn't choose it because of the commute, which would be, something that people would think about. But I chose it because my brother was going, and I heard so many just wonderful things about how well-rounded the students are and all these different aspects of the school with their so many different clubs and all the different great sports teams, so all of it just attracted me.
Taking the train home every day as a freshman and sophomore, I really learned how to make friends. And even today, most of my friends are the kids who I started taking the train with in fall of freshman year.
I came to prep because my brother comes here. Yeah, and it's a good school.
It's made me 100 times more independent. It taught me things I didn't know. I don't know. It taught me how to actually be able to do something on my own and not have to rely on someone to get me somewhere. Just kind of made me grow up a lot in a year.
Freshman for a day was the first time I was ever on a train, so it was kind of exciting. I think it helped me in many ways. I think taking public transportation is now something I can do on my own. I don't need a ride places anymore. I can just take public transit and get there. Very good. It's very helpful. If you get a job one day, you might want to end up taking the train. You don't want to be the first time ever taking a train at the age of 25. And it helps in general, just being able to get up and help yourself. Like, you don't need other people to help you. You can just take the train.
I guess it's taught me to be more independent and, taking the train, commuting without parents and everything, more independent.
When people find out that my commute is as short as it is, they are very envious, I'll tell you that much. They assume that I get out of bed at like 8 o'clock, get dressed and just, I'm able to leave and make it to school on time every day. People think that my grade should be just great because I have such a short commute and I don't have to worry about the train homework and stuff like that. And they assume all these things, but a lot of it's not true. I actually wake up at 7 o'clock every morning, or 6:30, because I like to start my day off well. I like to get up early, or early for someone who lives across the street, because I have another friend who lives down the block and he gets up at like 7:30. So, yeah.
My parents, they wanted me to take the train because they knew that that was a good way for me to make friends and that it would help me to mature as a person, learning how to commute in and out of a city every day. The train has really helped me to branch out to different people because my train line reaches many different areas. It goes from Summit to Chatham to Maplewood to Newark. It goes all over. So I really get to meet kids from all over New Jersey that I otherwise wouldn't have met. Even just being in prep, I wouldn't have met them. So a lot of times we'll get snacks in the train station or we'll just hang out as friends, and you really get to meet a lot of the train conductors, the train driver. It's a really great community on the train.
Commuting with your friends, best part.
My parents were absolutely horrified. They have never been so scared in their lives. But really, not really, because both my brothers took the train to prep, and they already knew what they were getting into by sending me on the train. They weren't scared. I was more scared than them, and everything worked out fine.
We have a good amount of kids from Jersey City at prep. I'm one of them. Josiah Ing doesn't live too far from here. I think he either gets dropped off in the car or like rides his bike. And my friend Tej, he lives just down the block, just like 2 blocks away. So his commute isn't so bad either. Who else? And a whole bunch of other kids that live uptown, because we're in historic downtown, so make that clear. But going to a school where most people live pretty far away, I've learned about a whole bunch of places I've never heard of in my life. I never knew Totowa existed. Funny name. I've been to the suburbs because of this. So it's a nice experience being able to talk with all the other kids and make friends.
So one time I was on the train. I take it home usually every day. And this older woman came onto our train car, and usually the last car is reserved for high school students because usually a midday train isn't as packed. And the train conductor, he notified her, he told her, you know, you might not want to sit here because it's sometimes a little rowdy, the kids like to have fun, but she decided to sit in her own little corner, and she was on it for about a half an hour. I think she got off at like South Orange or something. So by the time she left, the conductor he went up to her and he's like, I'm sorry if they were a little loud or a little rowdy for you. And she turns to us and she says, that was the best train ride I have ever taken. And it made us really happy because usually sometimes adults will get mad at us, but she was great. Woo!
My name is Chris Caulfield, and I teach freshman and sophomore English. This is my 5th year teaching at St. Peter's, but I actually also was a student here. Graduated in 2003, and after I graduated, I went on to Boston College, stayed there for the full 4 years plus an extra year, and did my master's program in secondary education there. Well, now I live in the East Village, and I take the PATH train from the 9th Street station every morning. I usually get here pretty early, so I don't see as many kids in the morning, but at nighttime I see them all the time. Even when I'm out of season, I'll see kids leaving around 3:30, 4, 5, all different times, and there's usually I'll see groups of kids, but I'll also see kids that are clearly, they were a little bit later and they don't have any friends with them, but they're just waiting in the PATH station. Most of them take it towards the Newark area, Journal Square, because they're such a big transportation hub, but I still see them in the stations. And I coach track, as you said, in indoor and outdoor, so basically for half of the year, I'm getting done with track at around 6 p.m. and I see all of the other student athletes, guys in clubs, guys just working late after school in the PATH stations, either together or alone. And the PATH stations, they're very crowded at that time. A lot of people coming and going from New York and things like that. Never issues. It always seems like the kids know exactly what they're doing. They catch on pretty quick with their travel plans. So all my track guys are definitely very versed in the kind of public transportation that they need to take. And most of the time they go together. I see just on my team alone, I'll see groups of 5 or 6 go to the light rail, and then another group of 5 or 6, maybe even 10, go to the PATH trains. So it definitely forces the kids to be very independent. And I think it's a good thing because most of my guys, like as I see on track, guys who are finding the right train to take at 5:30, 6 p.m. on a school night, I find that they are well versed in kind of just the average everyday structure that they need to follow. So I think it helps them just in general and life skills to kind of be able to follow a public transportation system and schedule. But I think aside from that too, it forces them to kind of create a time schedule for their work. A lot of them use the trains to do homework. I know plenty of my students even say that they save all the reading that I give them for the train ride in the morning or the train ride home at night. So I think it adds a lot of different dynamics to the prep experience, but I think it's definitely a very positive one that a lot of kids at other schools don't really receive.
My name is Linda Gelson. My son is a member of the St. Peter's Prep class of 2014. We live in Westfield, New Jersey, and my son commutes each day to prep from Westfield train station. It's about a 20-minute train ride to Newark. He will get off at Newark and jump right on the PATH train to Grove Street, which is approximately another 15 minutes. When they get off the PATH train, the boys have about a 3-block walk to prep. When my son decided to go to St. Peter's Prep, I was a wreck. I did not want him taking the train. The whole idea of taking the train scared me. I was very uncomfortable with it. I preferred my son to be on a bus where I knew he was safe, put him on the bus, pick him up at the bus. It's very difficult to give your son the freedom to do that when there's so many obstacles to get from Westfield to prep. When he first started going on the train, the first time I watched him get on the train was very difficult for me. I made him text me on each stop of the train. You would think he was 5 years old when I was letting him go. So I was a nervous wreck getting him on the train. That nervousness lasted approximately 1 week. And I think the train is a wonderful experience for him at this age. It's teaching him the commitment that he will have in his future years if he chooses a job, whether he's going to take a bus or a car or a train, what a commute is. Also, the train gives him an opportunity to see many different aspects of life. Besides the commuters, he sees different types of people, and he experiences different types of events in his life, whether it be from one time helping the blind man off of the PATH train because nobody could help him walk up the stairs, or giving his seat to somebody that needs it on the PATH. It teaches these young men what life is about. Within a month, it's just become a way of life for the boys. They have a lot of friends on the trains. They can do their homework on the trains. Again, if they miss breakfast, they grab a donut. Sometimes after school, they want to go to the mall up the street from St. Peter's, and a group of them go to the mall. It's a wonderful experience. I feel your uneasiness. When I do the orientation meetings, I meet a lot of parents, and their major concern is the train. It's a really difficult concept for a mother to let their 14-year-old son or 13-year-old son leave them off at a train station and not have that control of bringing them to school and picking them up. And I feel it, and I understand it. And believe me, it does pass. But the most important thing you have to remember, you think your son's alone. He's not alone. There's people all around him. Other students, of course, are with him, and the commuters are with him. And men and women, they know the prep boys. They see them in their uniforms. They watch out for them. Also, people in Jersey City, I have a very good friend that works at one of the office buildings, and he tells me they know when the boys are going to prep. They know who the boys are. They see them. They're all very well behaved. And it's kind of like a village. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Your son's not alone on the train. There are people all around him. Whether he's with other boys or whether he's with commuters, there's people watching him even if he cannot. That also with the train, it's an independence. You're giving your son independence. They're not at a certain time have to be at a bus. Not at a certain time you have to drive them to school. They have time to just relax with their commute. I know that sounds a little crazy, but it is. Taking the train and taking the PATH, they're setting their own time. They're not going from school right to home or home right to school. They have a little bit of downtime. They can chat with their friends on the train, or they can play a round of basketball before they get on the train. They can pick what train they want to come home on. They don't just have to get on a bus, come home. So there's a lot of independence. And again, with that independence, your boys on the commute, they're going to see life. They're going to see life all around them, and it's going to help them grow to be the type of man you want them to become.
One thing that we would like incoming freshmen and their parents to realize is that many of our students live in towns where they may receive reimbursement from their local boards of ed. In order for this to happen, the student must present me with what is called a B6T form. The B6T forms will be available at registration and can always be gotten either directly from me or via the PrEP website. It is very important that the form does get filled out and given to me so that I can directly forward it to your local Board of Ed. Throughout the year for which that form would govern, a parent would receive a financial reimbursement which would help in defraying the costs of transportation. You can determine if you live in a town that does reimburse simply by visiting the PrEP website. You can look under the Student Life tab where you will find information on transportation reimbursement.
So no matter where you come from, even if you're coming from across the street or from the suburbs, all roads lead to PrEP, and that's what matters. Goodbye.
I look like Santa under the pine trees where I go. And if you meet me, you'll be jolly.